Om Sri Lakshmi Narsimhaya Namaha. Advayataraka Upanishad. Presently, we would like to expound the secret doctrine of the non-dual deliverer for the benefit of the ascetics, Yati, who has subdued the senses and is filled with the six virtues, namely quiescence and the rest. Comments. The six virtues praised in Vedantic circles are Kshama, that is quiescence, Dhamma, that is restraint of the senses, Uparati, that is cessation of desire or worldly activities, Titiksha, that is endurance, Samadhana, that is collectedness, and Shraddha, that is faith. Always realizing I am of the nature of consciousness, Sit, with eyes completely shut, or else with eyes somewhat open by looking inwards above the eyebrow, he, beholding the Absolute, the Supreme, in the form of a multitude of fires of being, consciousness, bliss, assumes the appearance of luminosity. This secret doctrine is known as Taraka Yoga because it enables a yogin to overcome Samarthayati, the great dread of the circle of conception, birth, life, and death. Realizing the psychic, that is Jiva, and the Lord, Ishvara, to be illusory, and abandoning all differentiation as not this, not that, that is Neti, Neti, that which remains in the non-dual absolute. For the attainment of that non-dual absolute, careful attention, that is anusamadhana, should be paid to the three signs. In the middle of the body, there exists the Shushmana, the channel of the Absolute, of the form of the sun, and the luminosity of the full moon. Originating at the root prop, Mooladhara, she, that is Shushumna, the central channel extends to the Brahman fissure. In the center of the Shushumna is the famous Kundalini, with a radiance equal to the myriads of lightning flashes and subtle membered like the thread of a lotus fiber. Having beheld it with the mind, a person is liberated because of the obliteration of sin, papa. If he incessantly beholds the splendor, that is tejas, of the Kundalini by the virtue of the flashing forth of Taraka Yoga in a specific area, that is mandala, on the forehead, lalata, he is an adept. Then the sound pu is produced in his two ear holes, which should be blocked with the tip of his forefingers. Then beholding in an elevated state of mind that region in the form of a blue light located in the middle of the eyes, by looking inward he attains unexcelled bliss. Thus does he perceive in his heart. Such is the perception of the internal sign to be practiced by the seekers after liberation. Now follow the perception of the external sign. If he pursues in the form of the nose at a distance of 4, 6, 8, 10 or 12 thumbs breaths in succession, the space, Vayuman, that is doubtly endowed with gleaming yellow color, and again in the semblance of blood red color, which at times is like blue radiance or dark blueness, he is a yogin. There are rays of light at the outset in the vision of the person practicing this Taraka Yoga, when he is glancing with fickle vision at the space. If he sees that, he is a yogin. When he sees rays of light resembling molten gold, either at the end of the outer corner of his sight or on the ground, that vision can be said to be settled. He who sees thus 12 thumb breadths beyond his head achieves immortality. If he who is steady in that vision next has the vision of the radiance of space in the head, wherever he may be, he surely is a yogin. Now follow the perception of the intermediate sign. The yogin sees phenomena that are like the entire solar wheel, glittering and so on, with morning colors, or else like a conflagration of fire, or like the diffusely lit mid-region, antariksha, lacking such definable radiance. He abides in the form of their form. Through vision that abounds with these light phenomena, he becomes a space, akaksha, devoid of quality. Then he becomes a supreme space, parama akaksha, like deep darkness, ablaze with the radiance form of the deliverer, that is, being consciousness. Then he becomes a great space, maha akasha, like the conflagration at the end of time. Then he becomes a space of reality, tattva akasha, beaming with supreme luminosity superior to everything. Finally, he becomes a solar space, surya akaksha, resembling the radiant glory of 100,000 suns. Thus, the fivefold space existing externally and internally constitute the sign of the deliverer. He who experiences this, released from the fruit of his action, becomes like space resembling those described above. Hence he becomes the deliverer, the sign bestowing the fruit of the transmental amanaksha, that is reality. That realization of the deliverer is twofold, the former being the deliverer and the latter the transmental condition. On this there is a stanza that Taraka Yoga is to be known as twofold, consisting of a preceding and a succeeding form, whereby the preceding is to be known as the deliverer and the transmental reality as that which is succeeding. In the pupils, that is Tara, in the interior of the eyes, there is a replica of the sun and the moon. Through the pupils, Taraka comes about perception of the solar and the lunar discs, as it were, in the macrocosm, and there is corresponding pair of solar and lunar disc in the space in the middle of the head as the microcosm. Having accepted this, those internal solar and lunar orb should be pursued through the pupil. Here, the yogin should also meditate, mind yoked regarding the two as identical, because if there was no connection, that is yoga, between these two levels of reality, there would be no room for sense activity. Hence, the deliverer should be attended to with introspection only. Comments. This passage introduces a cornerstone of esoteric philosophy, namely the idea that macrocosm and microcosm are mirror images of one another. Here, the yogin is asked to experience their identity directly through introspection or inner vision, antaradrishti. There also is a pun on the words Tara, pupil, and Taraka, deliverer. That deliverer is twofold, the deliverer with form and the deliverer without form. That which ends with the sense is with form. That which transcends the pair of eyebrows is without form. In every case, in determining the inner import of a thing, the application of a controlled mind is desirable. Similarly, by means of Taraka Yoga, through vision of that which abides beyond the senses, with a yoked mind, and through introspection, that is Antara Ikshana, the yogin discovers being consciousness bliss, the absolute in its innate form, Swarupa. Hence, at first, the absolute form of the white effulgence becomes manifest. That absolute is known by the eye aided by the mind in introspection. Thus also the formless deliverer is realized. Through a yoked mind, through the eye, the dhara and other light phenomena become known, owing to the dependence of the process of perception, both outwardly and inwardly, on the mind and the eye. It is only through the junction of eye, mind, and self that perception can take place. Hence, mind, yoked inner vision, is instrumental to the manifestation of the deliverer. Comments. In ordinary context, the term dhara mentioned in the above passage refers to a mouse or muskrat. It is derived from the verbal root dhab, meaning to injure or to deceive. However, in its historic application, a more likely derivation is from the root dah, meaning to burn. It probably refers to the minuscule space at the heart, which from ancient time has been considered a locus of the effulgent transcendental self. This dhara is also mentioned in the Krishika Upanishad, translated below. The sight should be fixed in the cavern at the spot between the pair of eyebrows. By this means, the radiance abiding above becomes manifest. This is Taraka Yoga. Having well conjoined with careful effort and a yoked mind, the deliverer with the mind, the yogin should raise the pair of eyebrows a little upward. This is the former type of Taraka Yoga. The later, however, is without form and is said to be transmental. There is a great light ray in the area above the root of the palate that should be contemplated by the yogins. Thence comes the power of miniaturization, that is Animan, and so on. Comments. The power of miniaturization, that is Animan, or of becoming as minute as an atom, Anu, is of the 8 classical paranormal powers, Siddhi, ascribed to adepts. When there is the vision of the external sign and the internal sign, the eyes behind destitute of the power of closing and opening, this is the real Sambhavi Mudra. Because of being a sojourn to the knower who have mounted this seal, Mudra, the earth becomes purified. Through the vision of these adepts, all spheres, Loka, become purified. He who is granted the possibility of paying homage to such great yogins is also delivered from the cycle of conditioned existence. Comments. For a description of the Sambhavi Mudra, see the Yoga Tradition. Chapter 18. The radiant luster of the internal sign is the innate form, Swarupa, of the non-dual reality. Through instruction by a superior teacher, the internal sign becomes a radiant light of the 1,000-petal lotus at the crown of the head, or the light of consciousness, Sit, hidden in the cave of the Buddhi, or the 4th consciousness abiding in the 16th end, Sadosha Anta. The sight of the supreme reality depends on a true teacher. Comments. The Buddhi is the higher mind, the seat of wisdom. The Sodasha Anta, or 16th end, is a psychic center or space that is 16 digits above the crown of the head. This occult psychoenergetic locus also is referred to in some of the texts as Kashmiri Shaivism. A truly competent teacher is well versed in the Vedas, a devotee of Vishnu, free from jealousy, pure, a knower of yoga, and intent on yoga, always having the nature of the yoga. He who is equipped with devotion to his own teacher, who is especially a knower of the self, he who possesses these virtues is designated as a teacher, that is Guru. The syllable Gu signifies darkness. The syllable Ru signifies the destroyer of the darkness. By reason of the ability to destroy darkness, he is called a Guru. The teacher alone is the supreme absolute. The teacher alone is the supreme way. The teacher alone is supreme knowledge. The teacher alone is the supreme resort. The teacher alone is the supreme limit. The teacher alone is supreme wealth, because he is the teacher of the non-dual reality. He is the teacher greater than any other teacher. He who causes the scripture to be recited every even once becomes released from the cycle of sorrowful existence. At that instant, the sin committed in all births fades away. He obtains all desires. For such a yogin, there is attainment of the ultimate goal of all humanity. He who knows thus truly knows the secret doctrine. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Here ends the Advayataraka Upanishad as contained in the Shukla Paksha Yajurveda. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.